Hello, it's Bud. This lesson is about the 2D package that is now available to the CarveWright members. The lesson is titled Import Tracing Image Part 1. I talked to Michael Tyler this afternoon, and he gave me a couple quick tips because I wasn't able to figure out how this import tracing was going to be done. I know he's making a lesson, but I'm just learning and thought I'd pass along what I know, what I found out, and I hope I don't stumble too much. First off, we're going to go to import, and we're going to get an image from file. I don't want to move this. I'm going to pick a colored photograph of the Start U emblem. I tried grayscale. It didn't change anything. It may have if I'd have worked at it differently, but we're going to just use a colored image because it gives me the hues as well. Okay, so I'm going to accept it. If I try to get rid of the border, I also have a problem with the way the text looks. I may not use it anyway, but I just want to, I know that up front. Michael said he just uses these things as a skin, so we're going to try that. In this case, it may mess up what I'm going to do with my import and my puff, but we'll see what happens here. I'm going to name this thing AA Start U Image, so I know it's my image. And I'm going to get out of Designer, not that I necessarily have to, and come back into it. It just keeps me more sane. This time around, I'm going to import an import tracing image from file. I'm going to get that same photograph, and I'm going to try to open it here. And I get a notice that the selected texture size exceeds the video card capabilities. Now I know of at least one person that has gotten a new video card to resolve that problem, but I'm going to try it a different way just to see what happens. So we're going to go into it again, import tracing image from file, and this is where it didn't make any difference whether I was using a color photograph or grayscale. I had the same problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size of the picture from almost 12 inches to 6 inches, and since it's uniform on both horizontal and vertical, I'm just going to do both of them the same. And lo and behold, it took it. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Smart Spline tool. Michael says this is more workable for him than using the spline or using the connected lines. I'm not going to go into how this tool works, what all the nuances are. I know Michael's making a lesson. So at this point, I'm going to just use the tool and show you what I do with it. Okay, so I've activated it, and I'm going to come into this inner portion of the shield. I'm going to click at each point where I want to be able to control the line. back to my beginning point. Thanks glowing red. I'm going to click and click a second time just to make sure it's there. Alright. So now, if I come down here on one of these short lines and right click, I can go up to Form and change it to an arc, and then I can go to the green tab and put it where I want it. I'll do it over here, Form, Arc, and I'm just going to try to make this thing have the same contour, Form, Arc. Whoop, didn't take, let's do it again. Form, Arc, there. Michael says we can turn off perspective. I'm not exactly sure how I want to accomplish that, or if I want to do that. It probably keeps this thing from moving around as much. Okay, this is not in the right place, so I'm going to draw it over there. And I can do this. Form, Arc. I know this takes some time, but it's just a learning process we're going through. So we get to see what happened here. Okay. Ooh! What's happening here? Things bouncing around on me. If I can change it or not here, let's see. Not exactly sure why that happened. Okay. See if I can recover here. Best laid plans of mice and men. Some of these things jump out, some of them don't. Looks close enough for government work. Okay. So now we're going to select a puffing tool, which is part of the 3D package. And I'll make a thing about 250.25, quarter of an inch. And I'm going to change this so that it more resembles this than coming up to a point. So now if I click on the toggle texture I can see what I've done. And then I can come back. I could probably do it here too. Let's see. Puffing tool. Okay. Make it 1/2 inch. Okay. If I get rid of these construction lines, maybe I can see a little bit more. Raise the height on this thing to like a 990. If I put it at 100, didn't change anything, so I'm going to leave it at 100. Not that I can tell. But we see it's a 1/2 inch in. Sure, let's make this 0.25. It brings it back up the surface a little more. Ooh. Okay, 250 and a height of 100. That means it's raising in the center less than it's able to. Okay, so I'm going to click on group. I've got it still highlighted. I'm going to click on group and highlight both the group and the curve. And now the make pattern light is lit. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to call this thing AA start U puff. Just so I know what I got. Make these capitals. Okay. So that's what we're seeing. And I'm going to get out of this just since I make both of them and make both of them patterns. We're going to go back now. I've done my tracing. I've puffed it. And now I'm ready to bring up a board and change this so we can see it a little better. A little busy. So I'm going to favorites and I might as well dress this thing up while I can. We've talked about this kind of stuff before, but just so you can see what we got. I'm going to use the smart wand, click on lower, and it's a tolerance right now of 78, and it does a pretty good job. So now if I go to paint can, change the tool height to 0. If it's all one color, I can get rid of all that at one time. That's good. So now I can clear my dancing ants. And I'm going to filter and I'm going to trim the edges. I'm not going to try to make sure it's really clean, but I'm just getting it to where I want it. And it doesn't look bad. So, File, Pattern Library, come down here in my AA image, Double click on it so the title's there. I don't have to retype it. Click. Yeah, I want to replace it. And it's done it. So I'm just going to X out of this. So now I come in here, and here's my Start View Puff, and here's my image. So let's start with Puff, and it's there. Make it whatever size I want. If I do the red, everything's proportional. I'm just going to put it over here to the side so I know what I got. Click. So now I'm going to bring in my actual pattern, and I'm going to lay it out centered. Just on the horizontal. Okay. So now I'm going to take this thing and bring it in. And try to put it right on top. And get rid of those grid lines. Okay. The depth is 241. The image is 250. Okay. I'm going to try to grow this thing. I don't know if it'll help me to center this. It may. Okay. So there I have the puff kind of right behind the other. It's a 241. Let's try it at a 0.5. Not sure. 0.3. Okay. The image is there. Trying to see what's happening here. Puff. Oh, let's do the 9. I like 990. Doesn't change anything. Maybe it's not what I wanted. Get the right one here. Okay, that's the whole image. And this is the puff. Maybe that's what I want. Fun to learn. Image, additive. Nope. Don't want it up that high. I do want it additive, I can see that. See the line I've got. Whoop! Doing the wrong one. Undo. Undo. Okay. The puff now is what I want to change. Yeah. So now we can see the difference there. The puff is 990. Let's see if I make it 100. Yeah, I want more of a definition from top and bottom. 500. No, I'm going to go 990, just for the heck of it. So now we see that everything looks about right, and I have puffed this portion of the shield. It does take some time. If I put this down to a 0.05, I lucked out, and it doesn't look like anything is going to be ultra out of place. Of course, now I can come over here and outline this thing and apply cutout, flip, hide, accept. And if I highlight all this stuff, group, I should, whoop, probably the cutout. Okay, so now this is start U, and this is a carve. So now let's just throw all this away. And back over here. There's my puff. There's my image. There's my carve. And by golly, I think we have just imported and traced an image and puffed it. And I think that's going to be the end of this particular lesson. I hope it helps.